everyone. Welcome back to the XFL Fan Zone, where we just completed week 2 of the XFL. Let's get into the games. Game number 1, the Guardians and Defenders. I had this to be the game of the week. Boy, I could not have been more wrong. This is the game called by Steve Levy and Greg Elroy of ABC TV. They did a good job covering the game, and the sideline reporting altogether this week was a lot smoother than it was last week. Obviously, the reporters adjusted to what they had to do. Diana Rossini made it out this week without almost getting a black eye and having a microphone knocked out from her. Now, I was there for this game, and it was a good game. Good crowd, 15,031 in a 20,000 seat stadium. A reduction of 2,300 from last week, but a good crowd. That small stadium was good nonetheless. Of course, Anthony Johnson made his debut for the DC Defenders. He got off the plane probably about, I don't know, maybe the night before, and got in uniform and had about 1.5 sacks in a day and a few tackles, 1 for a loss. Eli Rogers playing despite his mom dying. He had 5 catches for 49 yards. What can I tell you? That's a tough decision to make. Something I would not want to do. This game was dominated from start to finish by the DC Defenders. I mean, Cardell Jones, 23 of 37, 62 completion percentage, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception that really meant nothing. Rashad Ross, DeAndre Tompkins, each had 90 yards, over 90 yards receiving. DeAndre Tompkins had his first touchdown pass of the season. A terrible day for Matt McGloin. 8 of 19, 44 yards, 2 interceptions, and just looked absolutely horrible. 1 drop pass, about 3-4 overthrown, 2 underthrown, a fumble snap, and a grounding call, which anytime they thought they were going to get something going, it did not happen. Of course, Cardell Jones is probably ought to be the star of the week. I thought he was the best player this week. Not much to say here. I mean, on the defensive side, the Guardians were like last week, 394 yards in offense. I think they gave up altogether, if I see my calculations. But the difference here is they didn't get the 3 turnovers like they did last week. Instead, they ended up giving up 3 turnovers, including a pick 6 to Jameer Thurman of the DC Defenders, who may be Defensive Player of the Week. I don't know, it depends. Bryce Jones of the Guardians dropped an easy interception also, so that should have been 2 pick-offs, but the Guardians did nothing on offense all day. Matt McGloin was frustrated. Mikhail McKay was double-teamed the whole day, and let's face it, the Guardians were down 2 of their starting offensive linemen, 1 of their guards in their starting center, and they're still down 2 of their receivers, Tanner Gentry and DeAngelo Yancey. They cannot get back fast enough, but there's no excuse for this. And of course, the highlight of the game seemed to be Matt McGloin's comments to the sideline reporters about having to change the whole offensive game plan, and he expressed his frustration. Not a good look for him. Of course, the Defenders win this one, 27-0. Defenders are 2-0. The Guardians are 0-1. The Defenders are now finally going on the road after their first 2 games at home. They're going to fly cross country to Los Angeles to face the 0-2 LA Wildcats. So that should be interesting. The Guardians, no easy task. They're going to go on the road and face the home opener in St. Louis, and they're expecting about 30,000 in that stadium. It's going to be loud. It's going to be packed. If you thought Seattle was loud yesterday, this is inside of a dome. They've been 2 years in the waiting, plus 2 more weeks of getting football back at what they call the Battle Dome. So it doesn't get any easier for New York. They go to 1-1. Now the next game, Tampa Bay at Seattle, the home opener for the Dragons. It was rain. A lot of the game, not heavy rain, but it was rain, no wind. Almost 30,000 people attended this game. Almost breaks the record the Commanders had last year in the 88th game. But Kurt Menefee, Joe Klatt called this game. Brock Hewitt also on the sideline. Again, good job Sideline reporting was done a lot smoother. Seattle's missing 3 offensive linemen that showed at the beginning. Brandon Silvers was first half 5'11" for 21 yards passing. Travis McFadden had a pick 6 the first half for the Vipers. It's still the only touchdown the Vipers have this year on defense. They've only scored 3 field goals. No, actually, no. Only 2 offensive field goals the whole year. 1 last week and 1 this week. Second half was a different story. The quarterbacks for the Vipers, not a good day. Of course, Aaron Murray was out with an injury. Cornelius, 16-27, only 154 yards, 2 interceptions. Quentin Flowers, 3 of 7, only 18 yards passing, 1 interception. The Vipers' offense looks absolutely terrible. None of the Dragons' offense has looked any better, but when they needed to score, they did. And that came on a Silvers to Keenan Reynolds, 68 touchdown pass. Marcel Frazier had a pick 6 for Seattle right at the 1 yard line and easy running. Those are your 2 touchdowns for the Dragons. The Silvers to Reynolds again for the 2-point conversion. And then pretty much that was your bowl game. This was a defensive game. Wasn't a bad game. It was a defensive game. I got no problem with defensive games in the XFL. I know they call this fast-paced, but that fast-paced does not mean more scoring. This is not the Big 12 of pro football, so I had no problem with the game. It was a close game. Listen, 3 of the 4 games this week were close. 6 of the 8 so far have been close. That's 75%. If we can keep it up, we'll have some happy football fans. Now to the Sunday games. The first one, the home opener for the LA Wildcats at Dignity Health Park. Just under 15,000 came to the game. Disappointing, but not surprising. Like I said, LA is a big event town. It takes a lot for them to come out to a game. But the good thing is, it is a soccer stadium. It holds 27,000. So the crowd did look pretty good, and it sounds pretty good on TV. Again, those soccer stadiums with the roof coming over, holding a lot of sound, is just better for the league. I am begging my Guardians to move to Red Bull Stadium next year. I don't know what the lease says on MetLife Stadium is. If it's just a year-to-year lease or whatever it is. So, anyway, this game featured both Josh Johnson and Landry Jones starting there for the first time this year. And listen, Josh Johnson looked like a guy who's only been in camp for a month and been nursing the last 2 weeks with a thigh injury. And Landry Jones looked like a quarterback at the first half who has been out of all of training camp with a knee injury. It was a defensive battle the first half. Again, I have no problem with that. Halftime score was 3-3. It was all defense. The Winston Moss defense looked a lot better. They played a lot more heart, a lot more passion. Winston Moss was pretty happy. And second half, the Norm Chow offense with Josh Johnson finally began to get a little rhythm, but it was too late. Landry Jones, he had a good game. 28 of 40, 305 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 bad interceptions. He did have those. Josh Johnson, 18 of 34, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a beautiful one to Nelson Spruce. No interceptions thrown. Nelson Spruce had 89 yards catching for the day in both touchdown receptions. And, of course, LA, the Wildcats got the first ever 3-point play in league history. Artis Payne rushed for 99 yards for the Renegades. He had 2 touchdowns at the end, which really hurt the Wildcats. Story for the Wildcats was turnovers. And the points off the turnovers, like it was for the other 3 games. Turnovers have been killer in this league. But Cameron Payne, again, the big touchdowns in the end. They go on to win the game. Dallas is now 1-1. They're going to Seattle next week to face that loud crowd. It'll be interesting if Seattle could draw almost 30 again. The LA Wildcats 0-2 will stay home and face the 2-0 DC Defenders. So this will be DC's first road trip. They're going, of course, cross country. The game was called by Tom Hunt, Joey Galloway. Again, they did a good job calling the game. LA was pretty good on third downs, 5 or 9 on third downs midway through the third quarter, but those 3 turnovers and that missed field goal absolutely killed them. LA could have easily won this game. And finally, what I would think would be the game of the week, St. Louis and Houston, again at TDECU Park. Houston wins this one 28-24, which was a really good game. Philip Walker, 20 of 31, 170 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. His quarterback rating is 111. You can make the case him and Cardell Jones will be the offensive player of the week. I'd still lean more towards Cardell Jones just a little bit, but that's just me. Jordan Tiamu, the rookie quarterback from St. Louis, 30 of 37, 81% complete percentage, 284 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, but 2 killer touchdowns, 1 in each half, that were brought back to the St. Louis 1-yard line, and Houston converted 15 points from those 2 turnovers in a major bowl game right there. The first half stats were even in this game. The second half, St. Louis held on to the ball. I mean, that Houston defense was exhausted in the second half, but that pickoff in the end, which pretty much sealed the deal for the Roughnecks. And Houston is now 2-0. St. Louis is 1-1. They finished their Texas road trip at 1-1, winning Dallas last week. And they finally come home next week for their long-awaited home opener. It'll be about 30,000 for that one. It'll also be their first division game against my beloved New York Guardians. Should be interesting. It should be fun. I mean, the Battlehawks pretty much almost had double the time of possession of the Houston Roughnecks, but the Houston Roughnecks made good use of their offensive possessions, including the 15 points again on the turnover. So that is your recap for week 2 of the XFL. Next week, let's see what we got. Saturday games, we have Dallas at Seattle for the 5 o'clock game on Saturday. Tampa Bay is finally making their first home game this year. They'll be facing the 2-0 Houston Roughnecks. It's not going to be easy for Tampa. They got some work to do in Tampa. They could use some home cooking. I am calling this game the Gulf War. You don't know why I'm calling this game the Gulf War? Take out a map. I'm not going to do it for you. You can figure it out after, if you could locate them. And of course, the Sunday games, I think St. Louis and New York is going to be the late game on ABC. And then the early game Sunday, let's see. What is it? It's going to be DC and LA. So, again, we'll have 4 good games. If you ask me, I think that despite the Guardians' performance, talent is still very on par with everyone. We're not going to know till week 5 on who's legit and who's not. Kind of like the way we wait to Thanksgiving to see who's legit on the NFL side. So that is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the football weekend. I did, despite the fact my Guardians got killed. And hey, listen, I also was up at the game for Audi Field, and Washington fans are cool. Well, even one gave me this shield. He also gave me one of these. That's pretty cool. Another Guardians fan did anyway. So I've met a lot of good people there. A lot of people from a couple of my football groups. So always good to see other people. So folks, we'll see you next. We'll be back with another video real soon. We'll do our top 5 and we'll do our Wednesday XFL news. So we'll talk to you later, everyone.